How far did you go in a game of truth or dare? I picked up a hat and also some grapes with my butt. I peed in the litter box in our basement. My mom thought the cat had a serious issue because it filled the whole box. My brother ratted on me, and my mom played the shit out of me by saying she was going to have to put the cat down because of a bladder issue. I cried and told her the truth. When I was like 13, my friend dared me to show my penis to his mom. She was just making lunch in the kitchen and I went for it. Her immediate reaction was, "Did Andy tell you to do this? All his friends do this to me." Apparently that was his go to dare. Not me, but my friend ordered a dildo for dare. A couple days later when it arrived she chose dare again and she was told to spend the entire game with the dildo in her. She did it. She occasionally wiggled in her chair and moaned quietly. Lucky everyone was drunk. Ate a pencil. Not me, but was a neighbor's fiancé. I lived in an apartment complex and we had some friends over and had also invited the new neighbors, a med school grad and his fiancée, nice enough couple and seemed pretty tame. Overall it was a pretty equal mix for guys/for girls, and the girls were all sitting at the kitchen table and guys were back and forth between the den and the patio to smoke. Hours go by and we're all pretty drunk and the girls had started taking shots and playing truth or dare. All the guys were out back and I'd come in to get another beer and use the restroom. While I'm coming out of the bathroom I hear the seemingly tame fiancé say truth. And one of the girls asks, "Have you ever had sex in exchange for something?" I felt embarrassed at first. I'm thinking my perverted friends are corrupting this innocent young woman, prob 22 to 23, but I'm like, I got to hear this, so I walk back to the fridge and this girl looks back to make sure her fiancé isn't inside and she says, "In college I asked a cute stranger at the liquor store to buy me some beer and he said only if I blew him. So I did." Lol, we weren't expecting that level of truth. Yesterday I came home from work and was sitting on the couch with my wife. I noticed the corner of her phone screen was cracked. I asked what happened. She said Ted dared me to bite it really hard. Ted is my 8-year-old son. My wife bit her phone until it broke because her 8-year-old son dared her to. I'm now questioning all of my choices in life. When I was 16 there was a girl I really liked and she invited me over to play truth or dare with some of her cousins and brother. Long story short, they all dared me to run naked across this field which was way further than anyone had gone. Being a dumbass and wanting to impress the girl I did it. They took my clothing and locked the doors and I ended up having to run naked about 2 miles through neighborhoods back to my parents' house which was locked, so I had to ring the doorbell to get them to let me in. Most embarrassing moment of my life. She later said it wasn't her idea, but needless to say my crush was over at that point. It is when I read these posts that I realize how boring my life has been so far. In 5th grade at a birthday party we all played truth or dare. My friend knew I had a crush on this girl, so he dared me to kiss her. She said, "I'm sorry, I'll hug you. But I want my first kiss to be with someone I like." That stung. Got completely naked with my then girlfriend and came very close to having full-on sex with her in a room with quite a few people in it. Haunts me to this day. Was playing with my friends and my crush was there too. My friends dared me not to play with them. Never gonna forget that. Was dared to get a BJ from my girlfriend in front of everyone at the party. Seemed more like a dare for my girlfriend, but she viewed it as "you're the one who has to get naked" and was down for it. For context, it was in high school, small town, 2004, mostly theater kids, 30-ish people at the party, and skinny dipping and streaking had already been dared and completed. It happened for a minute or so, to very mixed reactions to those in attendance. We came up with a house rules version of truth or dare. You could reject a dare/truth, but you had to lose an article of clothes. It was fun. It allowed people to reject stuff they may not want to do, while increasing the tension. To answer the question, we were mostly good high school kids, so we never went too far. Making out, topless females, or a bit of grinding was the high end. I've already commented on this, but I think I must do it again. I've also seen a man smoke a cigar out of his butthole on dare in high school. He wasn't drunk or high. Eastern Kentucky is a wild place. A game got out of control. One guy punched a hole in the wall. I put my dick in it. I had my first kiss in a game of truth or dare. Wasn't the sweet or pleasant experience one may be imagining it to be, though. My class was taking an overnight field trip on a charter bus. The chaperones all fell asleep, so a few kids started playing truth or dare. I wasn't participating, I was just sitting in my spot reading a book. Then I hear one of the guys say, "I dare you to kiss strawberry cocoa." I look up from my book to see this girl walking very slowly towards me, with just disgust all over her face. She leaned in extremely hesitantly, gave me a peck on the lips, then started flailing her hands and running away shrieking, "EU, EU, 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 absolute confidence booster, that one." Had to run 3 kilometers while went along in my car giving me beer to drink. Almost collapsed, and had to stop to piss a lot. A friend at 6th form college, so aged 16, was dared by a classmate to drink the whole of the communal bottle of vinegar that was on the cafeteria table. Maybe 300 milliliters. He did it. He was off college for a week with, predictably enough, the kind of intestinal issues you would get from chugging acid. Took a dump in my friend's front yard. His mom was wondering what type of cat had been in their yard until he nursed on me. We played hot tub truth or dare. We dared one of our buddies to show us his meat. This dude was skinny, but he was upsettingly massive. We proceeded to paddle his meat to see what would happen. Pretty tame. I went to a Christian high school, but post-graduation senior year of high school I came back to my hometown after moving away my junior/senior year. One of the girls wanted to have her first kiss before college, and she wanted it to be with me because she thought I was experienced, so her friends got a game going to play TD so she could kiss me. It was my turn. I chose dare, and dure. We both had our first kisses that night. "I dare you to lick her nipple" turned into a threesome. I played one game of truth or dare as a post-pubescent high school kid. We spent so much time rules lawyering about who could make which dares, and defining levels of comfort that people could agree to participate in what kinds of things, and where the lines were drawn, that we ended up barely playing at all and nobody did anything interesting. It's like we were all thinking, "I hope somebody dares me to do some fun sex stuff," but nobody had the guts to dare anybody to do any fun sex stuff. A game of spin the bottle ended in everyone, 10 to 12 people, just being naked for the rest of the night. Surprised the hell out of my roommate when he came home to find me naked in the kitchen cooking noodles while there was clearly a party going on in the next room. Edit, damn. This blew up more than expected. Thanks for the awards and whatnot, thumbs up. Dare to date a girl for a month. We dated for a year. I had a crush on one of the girls at the party. She thought that I was an annoying brat. I wasn't her type at all. She was dared to strip down to just her panties and go into a bedroom with me for 15 minutes. We started talking once we were in there. When they opened the door, I kicked it shut because we were making out. We didn't actually go all the way though. She was the first girl I ever saw topless. We dated for a year before going to college. We're both now married to other people. But it was an interesting experience. My crush got dared to kiss the person who he was most attracted to, and so I got my first full-on public kiss at the time. I got dared to be motorboated by him later, and we did. Lost my virginity 2 days later. To him. So, pretty far I guess. At house party in a rich area. I was dared to get naked and jump into 3 adjacent neighbors' pools. Mind you, they were not close and each one had a 8-0 tall fence that was climbable but difficult with no shoes. Half drunk, naked, running, climbing fence, and jumping in pools. I am so thankful camera phones were not a thing back in 1998. Friend of a friend back in school pierced his willy's head with a safety pin as a dare. The dude was ruthless. I remember playing truth or dare in high school with my friend, his sister, and her friend. I got to see my first real live vagina, and somehow my friend ended up fucking his sister's friend in the ass. Had to run naked down a residential street. Luckily it was dark and late at night, so I don't think anyone but my friends saw me. Not very. The last time I played was in middle school, and one time my friends dared me to get a hug from a girl in our group. They all ran away. As kids, my cousin dared me to go pick up a rock he threw into the lake. Neither of us knew how to swim yet. It didn't end well. I was lucky to survive after having been rescued by a teen passing by. It wasn't necessarily truth or dare, but I was playing for the girls with my friends at a sleepover about a month ago, and I pulled a dare card. It said to put everyone I'd ever hooked up with into a group chat and ask if they thought any of them had anything in common. I have a friend who lost a bet and had to wear a picture of his own erect penis on his shirt to the bar on a packed Saturday night, entirely full of people he knows. Edit: wow, I haven't been on Reddit for 2 days and was shocked to come back and find this comment blew up. Thanks for the awards. To answer a few questions, no, it wasn't me saying a friend and talking about myself. I am a woman. This is a bar we've all been going to for over 10 years, and the bartenders are all friends, and all have been working there forever. One of the bartenders is the one to make this bet with him, and that is how he didn't get kicked out for wearing the shirt. We live in a college town, and basically all of the same people go to this bar, to get away from the college kids every weekend. It's like Cheers when you walk in. He had a friend of his who makes shirts for a living make this shirt for him. It was printed on the shirt. It was about 11 by 14 centered in the front of his shirt. We all knew it was for sure his penis because of how embarrassing it was for him, and he doesn't get embarrassed easily. Plus there were a few gals there who were past partners of him, who did confirm. He wasn't allowed to hide the shirt, and if anyone asked, he had to say it was his. And it was big for those who asked. It did get him a few numbers that night, so he says. Had to let a friend sit on my head for 2 minutes. It had lasting effects. Normally dare someone to order me some pizza and sides and pay for it all. I jumped in a river during wintertime completely naked and have a photo to prove it. I can't show the photo cause I wasn't 18 at the time, but let's just say, I go all in for truth or dare. Walked all the way from downtown to the suburbs, was like 40 kilometers. Took us about 8 hours. Flashed my crush and made out with 2 of my roommates and crush on the same night. Had to strip naked and stayed that way for 2 minutes in front of people. I took truth after that for the rest of the game. Everybody else's dares were eat a hot pepper or sing a song in a weird voice. What the hell? 2 minutes is a lot longer than you think. Edit: I was the only boy. My best friend is a girl and it was with her friends. I saw a man tackle a sheep naked on a dare in high school. I was at this basketball camp, around 15 years old at the time. We were playing truth or dare and our coach, who was a pretty fat dude, was just nearby chatting with some friends. He comes up to us just to check on us and crack a few jokes. Quickly somebody shouts truth or dare to him, and he jokingly says I could have said anything, literally anything, and you know what I said? I dare you to lose 30 kilograms of fat in the next 10 minutes. Dead silence. He looks at me with a completely dead stare, then leaves without saying a word. I knew how much I truly fucked up as soon as I finished the sentence. We pretty much stopped playing in that exact moment. Everybody just went back to their respective room. Came back crying to him like 20 minutes later trying to apologize. To this day sometimes I still remember about it and I feel so shameful. Got dared by my high school crush to fuck the trailer hitch receiver on the back of my dad's truck. Not mimic fucking, but actually pulling my dick out and repeated penetration. This was with the promise of a make-out session afterwards. I fucked the truck, and eventually the girl too. My friends dared me to watch the worst, cruelest BDSM. I wasn't even aware of what BDSM was at that time. Fortunately enough, they couldn't access the site even with VPN. Mooned a cop. In 8th grade, I farted through my boxers into the mouth of my best friend's brother, 2 Xbox controllers distance away. He got pink eye a week later. Completely true story. When I was 18 to 19 or so, I was pretty timid and still a virgin. I went to this party at my friend's and we started playing Todd and ended up with all the guys making out with all the girls. A group of maybe 7 to 8 guys and equal number of girls. This one girl there, she and I had been friends since 6th grade and I knew she'd always had a crush on me. All her friends kept trying to push things with her and I during the game. We made out, but that was the extent of it. At some point, we're all drunk and she loudly proclaims that I need to follow her inside and she's going to take my virginity. I saw this girl as more of a sister and had zero interest in that, so I declined. Next thing I know, she's gone and one of my best friends is also missing. At that I was kind of sad, but I wasn't really into her so I don't know why, I just didn't like the thought of those two. Anyway, they both emerge an hour or so later and it quickly spreads that they had both gone into a bathroom and had sex. And then a few days later, I found out from my buddy that he caught the herp from that girl during that encounter. Right up to the point when her dad walked in on Boxing Day night while I've got a shoe over my cock and his daughter scrambled to put her pants on and barricade the door. I was 15 to 17, and I had a girl that I was interested in my basement. We had a whole living room, set up with couches, coffee table big enough to study on, and a TV. We were studying, aka playing Truth or Dare. Eventually it got into sexual truths such as if you dared you to do so and so, would you? I was dared to crawl around on my hands and knees and pretend to be a cat. Meowing, grooming my paws, purring, rolling on my belly. Saw a look in her eyes that I'd never seen from anyone else. Anyway, she pulled her top down and let me touch her boobs, but with her bra on. Fucking worth it. I recall someone's answer to this from eons ago. I was dared to go outside and walk home, that one hurt. Or something like that. Something called the cement mixer. Lime juice and cream mixed in your mouth. Had to go in the closet and make out with myself. A friend of mine was dared to drink a whole 5 liters bottle of water. He refused at first, but then people started placing money on the table. It got to €50. Then they added to the dare to do it straight up and the money was his. He did it. He drank all of it. All those 5 liters. He won the money and then proceeded to vomit like a faucet. Living in an apartment complex, I was dared to knock on a random person's door and give whomever a strip tease. Jokes on them, they knocked on the door of an 8-person female-only party that loved the impromptu strip tease. I also got dared to jump off the balcony and aim for the bushes, but that's another story. I got dared to hit on my friend's older sister, ended up meeting up with her a few days later. Dance half naked in a living room at a party. The room was in a house that had CCTV cameras installed so the landlord could monitor the students that were renting rooms there. Didn't have any repercussions from the landlord. In 8th grade I licked a girl's asshole on a trampoline in front of everyone for 10 seconds. Once dared a friend to suck his own dick. That's how I found out he could suck his own dick. Pretty sure that's how he found out, too. I feel like husband owes me a thank you. Ran naked and chased by a dog and ended up stuck on top of a tree naked cause the dog won't leave. Had sex on a stranger's front lawn. Jokes on them, I'm into that shit. Once I was dared to fuck a stranger that I'd met like 20 minutes prior at a small gathering. I accepted. She accepted. Still the best game of truth or dare I ever played. Opening someone's bra, but under her clothes. I was at a party, and someone dared this guy, let's call him Carlos, to streak around the block. It was dark out, dude had no inhibitions, shit, he was undressing before the guy even finished the dare. But then he was gone for a long time. Like, too long. Eventually we got a call. Please bring me clothes. Carlos had, apparently, streaked past a parked cop car, who offered chase. So he jumped a fence into a park with lots of heavy foliage. Would have been a good plan, except he accidentally jumped into the bushes behind an ongoing Little League game. He had to hide naked in the bushes until we could get him clothes on the day L so that he didn't wind up branded a pedo. Had my first kiss on the bus in 7th grade. You ever run across a busy 4-lane road in nothing but your underwear? Well, neither have I, but the guy I dared did. Summer before my freshman year in high school. My best friend's older brother was 2 years older than us. He had some girls over and we all got in the hot tub together. Wasn't truth or dare, but the girls basically said they'd get naked if we would. So that's how I ended up naked in the hot tub with my best friend, his older brother and his best friend, and 2 very attractive, well-rounded women. Unfortunately, that was the extent of the shenanigans, and it basically set me up to be disappointed in high school because all of a sudden I was thinking I was about to have 4 years of chilling naked in the hot tub with attractive girls on my agenda. Not so. I drank 6 PBRs that were part of a 12-pack left under the bleachers at my HS football stadium that were forgotten by my group in the middle of a Louisiana summer for about 2 months. Oof. Edit, typo. I got dared to flash my crush when I was in 8th grade. The bitchy girl that dared me didn't think I would go through with it. It worked out okay because up until that point there was a rumor going around that I stuffed my bra. Those rumors were quashed real quick. Edit, I've heard that this is sexual assault or illegal, so I feel that I should clarify. It was during a game of truth or dare that a group of us were participating in by choice. Everyone was the same age, give or take a couple of months. Senior in high school, I measured my penis in front of our friend group. I was dared to walk home multiple times. I think the furthest was around 10 miles. I always pick truth at these games. I know what assholes my friends are. They dared me to take their virginity and I did it. We were both social outcasts as teens, so I was their first and they were my second, even though we're in our 20s. It was pretty wholesome actually. Naked jumping jacks turned into a 3-way with my best high school buddy and my high school crush. I am someone that always picks dare, and I do almost all of them. I have climbed out a 4-story window, stripped in front of friends, kissed strangers, streaked in public places, went skydiving, walked over hot coals, and more. The only dare I can recall denying is when someone dared me to start seeing a therapist. Suck a guy's tits. All these answers are dares, but I am still so proud of myself for coming up with the most devious truth I ever saw. You ask someone, if I were to ask you, would you be able to pick, in order, the 3 most attractive people in this room? Don't tell me, just think about it. Okay? You got it? Now I want you to tell the room who 3rd place is. The person who gets picked is left wondering which 2 beat them. A bunch of other people are wondering if they're above or below the 3rd place, and it's just lovely general chaos. Bonus points if the target is bi, then everyone is a potential subject. During our last day of high school, I was dared to walk to my next class with my pants sagged down to my knees, late 90s. During the dare, my dick slipped out of my boxers, through the front flap. The group of friends I was playing with saw everything. I promptly pulled my pants up, and didn't complete the dare. When I was 19, I dared a girl to masturbate with an object in the room. She asked if she could pick me. Well, I'm a dad now. Not that intense, but I was dared to take off the clothes of a mannequin and stand in its place at the mall. Mall employees are very clueless. Boobs. It always ends up with boobs out. Went out with a colleague after work one night. After a few drinks and talking, we started playing truth or dare. I dared her to let me feel her thigh under the table. We were both late to the office the next morning. I once peed in the gas tank of an abandoned car when I was 9 or 10. Turned out that the car wasn't abandoned. Only once in my life have I ever played truth or dare when there were an equal number of genders, everyone being single, and with the possibility of everyone possibly liking each other. A few of the other people had already dared other people to kiss each other. Person A dated person B to kiss person C. They were all just small pecks. In one of the most bold moves in my whole life, I dared someone to kiss me. No one had been so direct. She said what kind of kiss, and I said any. And then we ended up making out a bunch from there until rest of night. I never had expected her to say yes, let alone anything more than a peck, and I wasn't even sure if she had liked me up until that point. It was a quite memorable It was the last time I ever played Truth or Dare and it was over 10 years ago. Definitely a highlight of my life. Not quite Truth or Dare but similar idea. A friend of mine played odds, instructions below, with someone at a party in their own home. The homeowner lost the game and had to go to bed. It was 9 p.m. in a house full of his friends. He had to shut his phone off, give the phone to his friend, and go to bed. How odds works is someone asks you the question, what are the odds you'd insert action. In this instance, what are the odds you go to bed right now? The person who is asked the question gives a number. Both players count down, 3, 2, 1. Then simultaneously say a number between 1 and whatever the number given was. Let's say the person in the story said 10. 3, 2, 1. 4. 4. They both said the same number, which signifies the 1 in 10 chance, odd, that he would do the action. It's sort of like Truth or Dare for adults. Walked into a bar completely naked and ordered a beer. I was at a girl for a tea. Then she asked me if I wanted a drink. I said sure, why not? Then we started playing Truth or Dare on her phone. We had to kiss for a minute. Then we played further. We had to kiss again and didn't stop. This was more than 2 years ago. She is my GF now. I went vegetarian for 3 years when someone dared me to. Ended up watching my roommates have sex, smiley face. Never had the opportunity to participate in one. There is still time. I was once in an underwear party, during my studies in Sweden. I am from Spain, in a residence with 90 people, which was basically an entire flat full of students. This Brazilian friend of mine told me she wanted to do the underwear party for her 25th birthday, and at the beginning people was a bit embarrassed, but then more and more started to join and we end up like 35 people in a small bedroom in underwear playing Truth or Dare, and a girl was asked to point and kiss someone she was into, and she kissed me. Then I was asked the same and kissed her, then she kisses me again and now she is my ex. Edit, needless to say that I had a hard time avoiding to have a boner, nerd face, cool face. I moved back home after 2 years of college in another city and started going to a school with a bunch of friends and others from my high school, and at the first party we were playing sociables. Before I moved away, I was a bit overweight and ashamed of my body, but in the 2 years away from home I had worked out and got pretty jacked. At this party, I was wearing a very baggy shirt. The crowd was mostly people I hadn't seen in a while, plus this girl I was interested in and a very good friend of mine, who knew I was into her and knew that I had got into good shape. He pulled the dare card, and dared us to switch clothes. I'm 6 feet 6 inches, she's 5 feet 8 inches, and we had to swap shirts and pants. I had a baggy shirt and jeans on, she was in a crop top and shorts. We swapped. Everyone started to notice that I was a lot more jacked than before and she kept staring. When the game was done, she wouldn't let me switch back into my clothes, saying that she liked how they fit me. We went home together that night, started dating and are now married and expecting our first kid. Edit, I know this annoys some people, I don't care. But thanks for the awards, comments and updates. Never thought my top Reddit comment would be about a drinking game and wearing women's clothing. Appreciate all the dad advice too. The dare was she dared me to put it in, so I did. Does this mean I win or she did? Well, this girl I know dared me to marry her, and yes, we're still married, so I guess the dare went too well. When me and my brothers were really young, we all dared ourselves to go into our sister's room while she was sleeping and pee on her bedroom floor. Don't know why we did it. Once in the locker rooms my friends dared me to flash them. They weren't perverted friends, even thought that seems perverted lamau. So, because I never really participated in Truth or Dare since I was always afraid I would get in trouble for doing the dare, as they're usually things that would get you in trouble, I took off my panties and flashed my friends for like 10 seconds. I remember us all laughing our heads off. This was years ago, but I still cringe at it, like no younger me don't flash people that dumb. I might even delete this comment from shame, tbh. Edit was putting the last sentence in. Not me promise, but a party in a truth or dare circle. There is this one guy that everybody though was hot, so everyone took turns daring each other to make out with him. I was very uncomfortable sitting there watching a girl I was crushing on get dared to make out with him, so was everyone else not in on it. About 8 years ago I took a dare. He's 7 now. Toes were sucked, naked running through the street, hand was put on a stove for 30s, ice and strawberry peels in the pants were highlights from our last game. Back in the 90s, we were playing Truth or Dare. My buddy dared me to perform oral sex on his wife. Best dare ever. I kissed a girl and I liked it. Not very far, but here are my moments. 8th grade, on an outing with the gifted program at my small K-8 elementary school, I was dared to kiss one of the girls in the group. She was a 7th grader, and quite pretty, also, she was the principal's daughter. It was just a quick peck on the lips, but it did feel like getting even after all the time I'd spent in her dad's office through the years. College, my roommate and a few other friends are hanging at roomie's dad's condominium while his dad is out of town. We all lived in the dorms at Cal Poly Pomona. This was in Westminster, which was a bit of a haul. After a few drinks we start playing Truth or Dare. I jumped naked into the pool on a dare, and was drunk enough to accept. One of the girls got dared to suck my roommate's dick, she accepted. The game ended with me, another girl, and one of the other guys simulating a DP while fully clothed. Asked a girl how many fingers she'd had in her butt that month. She said 3. Best believe I made it 4 by the end of the night. I ended up marrying my ex-wife, smiley face, smiley face, smiley face. I went home. I had to walk pretty far. Truth or Dare is so much more fun with couples. The most that happened specifically out of that game was an oral swap foursome.